It's voice training. It's time for voice training. Voice training. Train your voice so you like it. It's voice training. Whoa! Hey, it's me, Bria. Welcome to voice training. There was some technical difficulties at the beginning of the live stream, so I'm just gonna awkwardly cut from this into the part of the video where we got it all working. Thanks for joining me for voice training. We need to start, for real, because the sayings are coming. And that's a shtick I'm gonna stick with for the rest of this whole deal. So, breathe in through the nose. You feel like your stomach is expanding. You breathe out through your mouth and you contract your stomach in, pushing the air out, keeping your shoulders relaxed and your chest from heaving too much, like so. Let's just try a couple simple breaths like that together, just to get started, to get all those technical difficulties out of our minds. Try and push that air out like you're blowing out a birthday candle. Now I want to try something where we're going to hold it a little longer. I'm going to breathe in. Why don't you try on this next one? When it gets to breathing in. Let's do 2 more of these. Hopefully that worked for you alongside. You're able to follow with that and breathe along with it. Just focus on staying nice and relaxed. Hopefully you're feeling a little more relaxed now after that. Let's move on with our next, oh thanks Cryo, our next activity we're going to be going for, which is an extension of our breathing. It's going to be yawning, which we should all be fairly familiar with. Now we're going to be breathing out using our diaphragm as we did before, but we're going to give it a little bit of sound. Before we were just breathing, now we're trying to make a sound. Like not everybody yawns when they yawn in real life, or makes a sound when they yawn in real life, but for the sake of training, we're going to make a bit of a sound here. So we're going to go, it does not have to be high-pitched or in any way, just very, very, relaxed. Pushing out that air. If you want, put your hand up. Feel the air hit your hand. Oh, tons of warm air hitting your hand. Did you yawn? I'll give you another yawn. Now you go for a yawn. My turn. Your turn. My turn. Your turn. Let's try uptick yawns. Uptick yawns are where we're doing this breathing, making a sound, but we're going to try and go up in pitch. Don't worry if you're not able to go very high in pitch. The point here is just to kind of stretch it a bit. It's just kind of like this. And you'll notice, if you have your hand in front as you do this, like at the top, I feel way less air. I'm basically stopping my sound when I'm not feeling air on my hand anymore. So why don't you try that? Why don't you try giving it a little yawn and see if you can feel where the air stops on your hand. it's your turn for real. I'm going to have a little water. You should too, because these things have a way of making us lightheaded. Next, let's try a glissando yawn. The glissando yawn is the same idea. We're breathing out, but we're going to let ourselves kind of go up in pitch and back down again. That rising and falling action is a glissando. Just going like this. Doesn't have to be very high pitched at all. I'll give you another example and then I'll give you a chance. You try that. Don't worry if it's not perfect. Don't worry if you feel like your voice is cracking. Don't worry if you feel like you're losing your air at some point during it. You'll get better at that with practice. These are just warm-up exercises to get us into the feel for these things. Let's move on from these lighter, airier exercises to some tighter exercises to do with clenching our throat and working with the nose. And again, if any of this is confusing or unfamiliar because you're just jumping into it today, don't sweat it. Just try your best to follow along. And you can always review this video or the previous videos to see anything that maybe will help fill in the blanks or review anything that's confusing for you. So the first thing I'm going to do here with the tightening exercises is buzzing. I don't think we did buzzing in the first lesson, so this should be new for pretty much everyone. Buzzing is focusing on tightening in the throat here and keeping it up in your nose like this and giving a sort of buzz, a Z or Z sound, like so. I'm not trying to go high-pitched. I'm trying to go tight, rough, coarse. It may even irritate your throat a little bit. Mine, actually, honestly, I don't buzz that much these days. I'm feeling it. Oh my. But the reason that we get that feeling, the tightness, is because we're flexing those muscles, making them work. So if you get a little bit of that, it's not a bad thing. I'll show you another. Do you hear how it's in my nose a lot? Up in my nose like a weird nerdy robot. Like a kazoo or something. That's because the sound is very small. We've shrunk it down by putting it into the nose and the mouth as opposed to being in the chest. So with this, I want you to give me a shot at it. I'm going to give you one more example and then you can go after that. And yeah, tighten the throat, high up in the nose. Don't think high-pitched. Just think tight. You should go. Good. I'll go. You go. Everyone done? Good? Okay. I'll go again. Then you can go again. Everyone done? Good. I'll give us one more here. And you give us one more. Sounds really good. Nice. Have a little sip of water. And, you know what? Let's try it. Let's go pitch training with our buzz. I know I just said don't make it high pitch because you don't have to. Here we're going to challenge that a little bit. I'm going to show you a range. I won't go too crazy, but I'll show you what I'm looking for here. We're just going up step by step like so. See, there is very weak, right? First of all. It has very little of that buzzy grittiness to it at the top there. That's because I'm challenging my limit there, and I'm entering what's called the falsetto. The falsetto is basically when you're talking up here like Mickey Mouse. You don't want to talk like that. Normal humans don't speak like that.
Normal humans don't speak like this.
But buzzy voice at least trains us. Falsetto voice doesn't train us quite in the direction we're wanting right now, at least. So for training purposes, I want you to go in your scale and stop wherever you hit a part where you don't feel like you're getting that buzziness. I'll give you one more here, and then you can try. You know, still a little bitty buzziness in there, but I was losing it a bit. Why don't you try? Just give me a few. I'll give you a few seconds here to do it. And have this counter. When this is done, we'll move on. And have some water if you need it. Oh, I think it finished already. If you haven't, have some water. Good? Good. Okay. Buzzing's done. Let's do Bugs Bunny. You're going up into your nose and tighten your throat. Again, that's the essence of pinchy voice. Tighten the throat, high in the nose. And the Bugs Bunny is a great way to get there. Let's just do 3. I'll go and then you go. Good. Easy. I hope that my turn, your turn thing works for you. Let me know in the Twitch comments or on the Discord. I've got a feedback section on my Discord too. You can let me know anything that's working for you in the lesson or isn't working for you. Next up, we're going to go Grudge Ghost. That is focusing on the bottom of the throat here. We got that tight feeling when we do our or this is the same thing, but we're focusing purely on that tightness in the throat, not worrying so much about the nose stuff. It's going to feel right around in here. We're going to be going like a popping sound. Just kind of flex the muscles in there and just exhale, making like an sound. If you can do that, if you can move it all around and even speak words with it, you got a great vocal fry. And vocal fry is the secret to especially a younger woman's voice, like a more ballet girl type voice. So try it in its simplest form. I'm going to give you another chance here to, go for it. Do a couple cycles of this breathe in thing. Try a few and have some water if you need it. At the end of this one. That's plenty of time. There we go. Sweet. So, but we can move that up into the nose a little bit more. Starting down in here, we're going to go when I get to the top at that it's mostly in my nose. There's, you know, it depends on how, you know, well I'm doing at it. That one there, I could feel a little bit of throat engagement in terms of the muscles in here. But if I really get it down, it's pretty much all in my nose. And that's the secret to hitting the high notes, especially if you don't want to go into that falsetto zone. So we have the one end of kind of a lot of female voices that down in here, and using the same skill, moving it up into here, we've got the kind of high pitched end, the what I call the creak to the squeak. Creak, up into the squeak. So we can move that. I want you to feel not like you're going up in pitch, because that's usually a little bit of a red herring for people. I want you to feel like you can physically move the sensation of doing this up your neck and into your head, like like so. Don't worry if you can only go ah. That's pretty good. Let's start with that. Let's just try ah. You can go. I'll go ah. You go. Good. Ah. Your turn. My turn. Ah. Your turn. Ah. 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 Hopefully that was a good pace for you. Let's try the full spectrum of this, where we're going, starting at the bottom, going to the top, and coming back down again, like I displayed in my longer example just a moment ago, where we went ah, 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 ah. You kind of, again, holding onto that tightness, bringing it up into the nose, and then bringing it back down into the throat again. Ah, 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 ah. Why don't you try that? I'll give you an example and then you go. I think that's probably the best way to structure this. So I'm going to go, let's make sure I got that. Ah, ah. Your turn. My turn. Ah, ah. Your turn. Ah, ah. Ah, ah. Ah, ah. Yeah, makes sense? Throat feeling okay? Have a little bit of water just in case it isn't. And we will move on to Crusty Gate. Not crusty, rusty. We just did Creaky Door. That ah. Well, now we're going to do Rusty Gate, which is a similar thing. Same skill, same tightness in here, same bringing it up into the nose. But instead of an ah sound, we're going to go an sound. So, and I don't know how well it comes across on the mic, but this sound I find really is a lot easier to get that squeakiness into it, and I think that's one reason, among a couple others, that it's really good, I think, for especially newer students to practice this one, because it helps you lock in that squeakiness, that I think it's because R sounds, you know, especially a lot of languages that can roll their R's. I'm not good at it, so I'm not going to do it. It's the same muscles. So I think that R really helps clench it in and get that tightness that we're looking for in this. But of course, it doesn't cover all of speech, so that's why we need to do, you know, the Creaky Door as well as the Rusty Gate. So again, I'll show you one, and then you can go after. So my turn will look like this. Let you go. I'll go. You can go. Have a little water. I'm going to have some water too. Radio. Now we're going to do one more of these exercises, and that is going to be tight in here again. And instead of the fluid R sound, it's going to be a static R sound. We're going to be holding it in one place. We're going to be going same sound, but now we're just clenching. Tighten the throat here. Nose engagement as well. I'm going to have a little water after that one. I'll give you another example, and then we'll do a back and forth thing. You go. Good. Let's try a progression. We're going to go up in pitch on this one. This one is normal for people to have not quite as much range as they would on other exercises, but it's really good training to get that clenching action working at higher and higher pitches, because that's how you get stronger. Think of increasing the pitch on something as increasing the weight on an exercise that you're lifting, you know? When you increase the pitch, you increase the weight, which sometimes that means your technique's not going to be as good. You can't do it quite as well. So it's important to make sure you've got the fundamentals down before you rush off too much. But if you never push yourself, if you never try and increase your pitch, you're not going to get stronger either. So today, let's try getting a little stronger. Watch me here. I'll be going... And here, there, I'm kind of like, it's a little more strained. I'm losing the tightness a little bit. I would probably have gone into my falsetto on the next note there. I'm going to have a little water, and while I do that, why don't you try a scale? Try 3 to 5 notes. Whoa, I just counted up to 10 notes. Is that how many you got? 10 notes? That's nuts. I mean, don't sweat however many you got. That's great. Hopefully your throat is feeling okay. Have a little bit of water if you need it. Throat should be pretty well warmed up at this point. Let's go to a little bit of review of something we did last time, but we're going to work harder at it. Last lesson, we covered the basics of breathy and pinche vowel sounds. Let's go to the simple breathy vowel sound of an sound. Breathy voice, as you remember from those warm-up exercises we just did, is about moving air, softness, gentleness. When you do breathy voice, you feel the air on your hand. I felt lots of nice, warm, wet air all over my hand. That's what we want. And I'm not trying to go too high-pitched. Even if you're going, that's fine. I felt tons of air in my hand there. Let's just try a couple back and forths. And remember to look for the air on your hand. If you're not feeling that air, you're in your falsetto. We got to go down in pitch. So I'll go and then you go. Have a little water. And if you're new to this, if you feel like you're not quite getting it 100%, don't sweat it. It just takes time and practice. Keep reviewing this video. Go back to previous videos and watch them and follow along with them. You'll get it. And it's just like, even if I was to hold your hand, like I used to teach private lessons before I started doing this, and even then it's a long, difficult process. So don't get discouraged if you're following along today and you don't fully understand it. Don't worry, I don't expect you to fully understand it. Nobody does the first time. Let's go to our next sound we're going to do, which is an A sound. Same idea. Take a deep breath in, push that air out. Remember to use your diaphragm. Breathy voice is an extension of that diaphragmatic breathing we were doing. Same thing. Breathing out with your stomach, pushing the air onto your hand. This time we're doing an A sound. And I should mention, with breathy sounds, we want to give it a little bit of an H. That H, that ha or hey, That gives you a little bit more air. It's going to help you move air onto your hand and get the technique down. So we're going like so. Easy, right? Felt tons of air on my hand. Here, I'll go and then you go. Easy peasy. Have a little water. Hopefully your throat's feeling okay. Hopefully no one's too lightheaded. Hopefully you're feeling nice and strong, nice and relaxed. Take a few breaths in and out. You can massage your throat a bit. Let's move on to our next sound we're going to do, which is an E sound, or he. We're going to be putting the hand up, deep breath in, engage that diaphragm, and pushing it out like so. Oh, easy. I felt so much warm air on my hand. I'll go, and then you go. Good stuff. Have a little water. Couple breaths in and out. Massage your throat. Yeah. Let's move on to I, or high. Hand up, deep breath in, and we're going to go high. You get that? I'll give you another example, and then you can go high. Try it out. High. 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 Easy peasy, right? Yeah, yeah. Have a little water. Last sound we're going to do with this is O. We are going to be going oh. Yeah, makes sense? Felt lots of air in my hand. Hopefully you are too. I'll go and then you can go. Oh. 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 Good. Have a little water. Those are the breathy sounds of the basic vowel notes. I'm going to need to use the washroom. How about we take this as an opportunity to have a washroom break? I'll see you in just a sec. Well, we're probably ready to go. Let's go back to it, kids. So we just did breathy. Let's do pinche. Vowel sounds in pinche. We're not worried about the breath, so we don't have to have the hand up. We're worried about that tightness and the nasal action. So we're going to be going like so. Do you hear how it was kind of like buzzy, like an electric buzz, a schoolyard buzzer, a game show, like you know, that kind of thing? That's the feeling we're going for, that tight. Remember the Bugs Bunny? In the first lesson, we did back-to-back with It helped people get tighter in the throat and higher in the nose. I suggest we do that today as well. We're going to go why don't you try it?
Yeah. Ah. Yeah. Ah.
Yeah. Again, you don't have to worry about high pitch so much. We'll do a little bit of pitch stuff in a moment, but I want to focus on tightness first. Next, let's go to A. Same sound, same tightness, same nasal. We're going
A.
a little mucus in there. That'll affect your tightness. Mucus is the enemy of voice training. I'll go one more example and then you can go.
A.
Why don't you take a crack?
Yeah. A.
Let's do back to back. Try it again.
Yeah. A. Yeah. A.
Oh, it didn't click your turn before. Good system, Bria. I'll go, and then you can go one more.
Yeah. A.
Sure. Got the idea? Tight in the throat, high in the nose. That's all you got to remember. You'll get stronger at it as you train this more. Next, we're going to do E. Now, E, you can never give enough nasal. The more nasal in your E, the better. It's going to sound like this. And again, notice how I'm not like particularly high pitched on any of these sounds. I'm not trying to go ee. That's not what we're doing. That's not training. We want to go tight in the throat. And if you have to go up that high, chances are you're not able to get that tightness. So even if you're going ee, that's better because you're clenching your throat. So I'll go one more and then you can go.
E.
And I feel like, hopefully at this point, you've got a good handle on the technique that you don't need to do back-to-back. If you still need to do back-to-back, sure, try it out. It can't hurt. But eventually we have to wean ourselves off these things. So it's good to practice both with back-to-back and things in isolation. So I'll just do it on its own. And I'll let you decide whether you want to do it back-to-back. I'll go.
E. 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 E.
Okay. Hopefully your throat's feeling okay. Have a little water just in case you need some. Next, we're going to do I. Same principle. We're going
I.
I often think of I, especially on pinche, as like an ah and an e together.
I.
Especially if you're drawing it out. Drawing out your repetitions, by the way, of these different things is another way to increase the intensity of it. It's harder to do it for longer. I'm not making you do it a super long time today, but in your own training, you can go and hold it for, as long as we're breathing there, for 5 seconds even. Try and do it as long as you can until you give out. You can do that kind of training. Just don't feel like you have to do that all the time because it's unrealistic and you can burn yourself out doing it. Here, I'll give you another example and then we'll go back and forth with it.
I. 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 I.
Yeah. Have a little water. Next is O, the last of the vowel sounds. We're just going
Oh.
Remember to get that O mouth shape. That's what's going to make the sound despite you being all tight. I'll give you another example and then we'll go back and forth.
Oh. 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 Oh.
Yeah. Have a little water. Okay, next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do a little bit of that pitch training. We'll go back to breathy and we're gonna go to the basic ha sound. And remember, we're trying to keep that air on the hand, but we're gonna go up step by step, higher and higher notes, like we did with some of the warm-up exercises. And on this one, it's gonna be up to you to kind of figure out how high you can go. You put your hand up, you do your sound onto it, and as you go up, you'll feel less and less air hitting your hand. When you're not really feeling much in the way of air hitting your hand anymore, good chance you're in your falsetto. Especially if you're sounding like, oh! That was definitely like, oh! Very little air on my hand. Very much in the falsetto. Doesn't sound quite natural either, right? So you'll be able to figure out, especially with a bit of practice, where you need to stop on this. But I'll just show you what I'm looking for. Oh, 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 oh. See there, I'm not feeling a whole lot of air there, getting a little lightheaded, a little strained. Not quite what we wanted at the top, so I stopped there. That was only like, what, 5-6 notes or so? Not a whole lot, you know, and with practice and warming up, you can do more of these. But for your first one, if you can only do a couple, 2 or 3, that's fine. I'll give you a little bit of a chance here to go up and step, I'll just give you a chance to gauge your own, and then we'll do one where we do it together. So, or no, let's do one where I help you, and then you can do one on your own. I think that, in my experience, has worked best for people. So it'll be like this. I'll go and then you go, and you try and match me as we go up. Yeah? Okay, we'll try this. I've done this before with students one-on-one. I'm sure it can work in a live stream. We're going... Ah... 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 Wait, that's not my turn. Okay. Ah... There we go. Ah... If you reached your limit throughout that, don't sweat it. Have a little bit of water. Take a couple breaths in and out. Good. Let's go to pinche. Let's just go to that ah. And we're going to do pitch with this as well. Same idea, we're going
Ah. 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 Ah.
yeah, see there? It kind of lost that grit, became a little more pure falsetto. Didn't quite feel right to me. So much of voice training is about how it feels to make a sound. So if you're not feeling that air, you're not feeling the tightness in your throat, that's how you know it's not quite right. So in the future, when you're practicing and you make a sound that you really like, how are you going to remember how to do it again? Well, you can record it, and that's a very useful thing to do in your training. But you can also remember how it felt to make it. And using those two methods together can be very powerful. You record the sound, you remember what it sounds like, but how did it feel to make that sound? Well, you got to remember that. And once you get a good sense of your body and the feelings you have in it and what it feels like to do things that say you want to be doing, then it becomes a lot easier to do those things. So we're going to go up in pitch on this. You can follow with me. And I want you to keep track of the tightness you're feeling in your throat, where you're feeling it, how intense it is, if you're losing your grip on it, anything like that. So ready? Try to keep up.
Ah. 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 Ah.
How long did you make it through that? Hopefully you were able to get a couple out. Don't sweat it if you couldn't go all the way. Have a little bit of water. Hopefully your throats aren't feeling too sore. We challenged it a little bit more than in the first session. Did some pitch stuff. In review, I want you to think about in the week ahead as you train and practice, because you are going to keep practicing every day, yeah? The sayings are coming. You got to have a good voice for the sayings. And it's important to keep practicing. The only way to get good at this is if you keep practicing. And so hopefully you can set aside at least a few days this week until next Thursday where you can practice every day. And in that practice, I want you to focus on glissandos, especially the because that's a very easy way to get that breathy happening, as well as a little bit of the pitch without going too crazy into the pitch stuff. I want you to focus on these vowel sounds, of course, maybe challenging the pitch on them, the ha, 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 being able to go higher and higher without losing the air. Don't do all pitch, like pitch training. Do some at very basic level, the ha, 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 just all very consistent, all similar. Because if you jump too fast into intense pitch training, you might get sloppy technique. But I also want you to be motivated this week, and I want you to have something to aim for, and I want you to push yourself a little bit. So feel free to do a little bit of that challenging stuff of going up in pitch, because I think that'll make it a little more fun for you to practice. And I also want you to practice on those creaky door sounds, that those are the three most important things this week. Falsetto, challenging yourself on your vowel sounds, either by going up in pitch or just trying to get it really consistent. I think honestly either one I'll be happy with. And I want you to focus on creaky door, the three things you do this week. You can do any other things that interest you too, but use that as a framework. If you feel confused or you feel a little foggy on anything, return to this video on YouTube or the previous video, and you can use that as a template. You can work out alongside the video, of course, yeah? You can pause it, you can replay parts that you're not getting, and you can just try and copy the sounds that I'm making. And I want you to not work out for more than an hour at a time. We've been going for about an hour now. We got delayed by technical difficulties, but I think that's probably a good amount of training for everyone to have today. So don't go off and train a whole bunch more after this. Your throat's probably a little tired. Train tomorrow. And if you want, follow along with this or the previous video for that training. Yeah? Hopefully you had fun. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you stuck around through all the technical difficulties. I'm not sure where that came from. But hey, thanks for the what are they called? Bits? Yeah, thanks for the bits, Scrimson. Anyone, before I go, any tips you want to throw my way via the tip button below? That's always super appreciated. Thanks so much to everybody who's tipped so far. If you have Amazon Prime, feel free to gift me a sub. Don't know what that is? Do you have Amazon and Amazon Prime? That gives you Twitch Prime. And that allows you to click the button just above my video. It says gift a sub. It doesn't cost you anything, but it gives me like a little bit of money. That's handy. You get to give somebody a sub every month. You should make me that somebody if you have Amazon Prime or Twitch Prime and you just didn't even know about that for some reason despite having Twitch Prime. Follow along my YouTube channel because that's where the videos go up, and other videos too. And I love you, I think. Probably. Sure, that's appropriate to say. And I don't know. I'm just gonna go, I think. I think we're pretty solid here, yeah? Everyone's feeling good? Yeah. Yeah. Alright. Thanks so much, everybody. I'll see you a week from now. And keep on training. Don't stop training, please. Okay. Bye.